What a crazy 24 hours it has been. It all seemed like Carlos Correa was headed to San Francisco to play as a Giant for the rest of his career and live out his dreams by the Bay. But unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you root for, the Giants ended up fumbling the bag, or maybe they did it on purpose because Carlos Correa ended up failing his physical. If you don't know, basically when a team decides, hey, look, we're going to sign you, this is the contract, but it's all pending upon physicals. They go out there, they go do the physical, and then once everything's good and the doc is like, hey, you're good to go, sir, go ahead and go get that bank amount of money, that huge amount of money, and then they go and play for the team. And most of the time, it just works out. They're fine, they're healthy, they're athletes, they're good to go. But there was a mystery condition, and Carlos Correa has always been very secretive about this. Even last off season, he did not want to reveal his medical information to any team unless he received an offer. And the only team that ended up knowing about it after was the Minnesota Twins, because they offered him the money and then they got him. And keep in mind, the Twins did extend an offer to Correa, knowing his health issues and all this stuff. Definitely it was lower. It was like in the 270s, I believe. So definitely a lot lower than 350. But the Giants said, hey, look, we'll take a chance on you. And then they saw the physical and said, hey, something failed here. The doc was like, hey, red flag, something failed here. We got to check into this. We got to look into more tests or whatever. And the Giants didn't like that. They rescheduled their press conference to introduce Carlos Correa as their new player, their new shortstop. And that is crazy. Now switching on over, the Mets didn't even wait too long. They literally picked right back up in negotiations where they were right before Carlos Correa decided to go with San Francisco. Even Cohen is quoted as saying, we just picked it right back up. Literally, the guy did not waste any time and gave Carlos Correa a contract of 12 years, $315 million. Yes, the San Francisco Giants offered a little more. At 13 years, $350. Carlos Correa, probably with his medical history and things like that, and the Mets having a little bit more leverage now, saying, hey, look, that fell through. Something's weird here, but we'll take a chance because I'm Steve Cohen and I don't care about money right now. So he ended up signing him, and that's huge. And I've seen this in Yankee land so far, that they're saying the Yankee fans are comparing themselves to the Mets, and all I got to say to that is don't compare. There's no need to compare. It's like the Mets are always just going to be the Mets. It's not even in our division. I try to tell this to my good friend Will, that always loves the Mets, even with the Wilpons and all that stuff. And he always tries to compare it. Mets fans try to compare themselves to the Yankees. And you just can't. You got to win more championships. You got to prove yourself. And guess what? The Mets have a great owner that's willing to spend money, and that's awesome because all the owners should be willing to do that and wanting to win and be a fan of their team. And the Mets got lucky, and they have a great owner that's going to go out there and basically build a fantasy team because at the end of the day, money doesn't matter to them, which is cool for fans and awesome to see from a baseball perspective. But as a Yankee fan, am I worried? Not at all. Should you guys be worried? Not at all. It's not in our division. The only time it matters is if we're in the World Series with them. We've seen the Dodgers spend money. We've seen all these other teams spend money, but it doesn't mean that you win a championship. You saw the Yankees spend money in 2009, and yes, we did win, but how many years of other teams spending crazy amount of money do they end up winning the World Series? A lot of times it's just that team that gets hot in the playoffs. Yes, it helps that you have great players, but at the end of the day, it matters team chemistry and how all those pieces fit together. All I got to say is that the Mets better win this upcoming season, because with a payroll of $385 and a tax bill of $110 million, the highest ever, the only one that could get kind of close was the Los Angeles Dodgers in 2015 with $44 million, with the tax bill being that much. That's more than double the amount. Steve Cohen has gone nuts. And unless he trades players and it lowers the payroll, that is how much the Mets are going into next season. That is blowing every team out of the water. That's why I say they better win the World Series next season. Otherwise, this just shows you what else can Steve Cohen do the following season if they lose next season and they don't even come close to a World Series. Is he going to go like balls deep and get Ohtani, go out there and go hit that $500 million payroll mark? I wonder how all these MLB teams are feeling like. The Mets literally did whatever they needed to do to just get better. And this is what Steve Cohen had to say. This really makes a big difference. I felt like our pitching was in good shape. We needed one more hitter. And I could say that could easily be a Hal Steinbrenner quote. That's the mentality we need, because we need one more hitter. We need to get something to bring us over that top. And right now, there's no really good free agents. You can try to trade, but we're trying to retain some of these top prospects. So it's starting to look like the Yankees are just going to stay in the spot that we're in right now, and nothing else big is going to happen. If the Mets didn't swoop on in and get Correa, I would have been a huge advocate for the Yankees to swoop on in and get a Carlos Correa, because that's the type of mentality player. I don't care about his health issues, because he brings that mentality and can mentor and can bring value in many different ways. Imagine this. The Yankees literally missed out on Lindor. The Mets got him. The Yankees literally missed out on Senga. The Mets got him. Verlander. The Mets got him. Edwin Diaz. The Mets got him. And then now Correa, the Mets got him. If you're a Giants fan, I feel bad for you guys, because who did you guys get? Missed out on Judge, missed out on Correa. Now there's no one for you guys. And the Mets got everyone's favorite players. They're literally building an MLB The Show team. And now Steve Cohen has put Lindor with another one of his good friends, Carlos Correa. Correa will now move on over to third base and play over there. And they're going to be buddies. Who knows if that's going to work out? I mean, we did see Lindor and Baez, and supposedly they were good friends and blah, blah, blah. And then they started doing those thumb downs to all the fans and stuff like that when they were booing them. I don't know how I feel about that. I always felt a little sketch about Lindor. Anyone that smiles a little too much, there's something off about him. I mean, it's just a gut feeling. But anyways, Lindor, and then you got Correa, buddies. Let's see how that turns out, and let's see what exactly can come out of this Mets, where they're building a dynasty in a way, but they got to win in order for it to be a dynasty. So let's see what happens in these next few years. I'm just saying, if they end up fumbling the bag with a $385 million payroll and don't even come close to a World Series with Verlander, Max Scherzer, Lindor, Correa, all of these guys, then we're talking about one of the worst fails in all of sports. And so it's going to be interesting to see how the Mets handle that type of pressure, and how those ticket prices will definitely go up. And Mets fans can never say that Yankees have bought championships, especially if they end up winning one, because Steve Cohen is the definition of trying to buy championships.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.